Hello and welcome to the new episode of the Sometimes Relevant, Always Talking Games podcast. You're here with me, Jack, and James,
Hi.
and today we're going to be discussing the new Tom Clancy's Division beta, which came out on Friday for PS4 users, which we played it on. All about rounds, I played it for about 5 hours without friends. How long do you play it for, James?
I'd say probably about 90 minutes, mostly with friends, about 20 minutes without friends. So,
Yeah, so in that time you feel like you've got all you need to know about the base game.
I feel I know enough, yeah, to make it
Because I mean, like before, like people, because I mean, as we do when we listen to Kind of Funny, we know they get a lot of criticism when they say they haven't played the game for a long period of time. But in the case of beta, obviously we know it's not the full game; it's only a snippet of it. But I would draw an example to the recent Star Wars Battlefront beta, because I mean, James, you've got the actual Battlefront game and you played the beta, and there's not, even though that beta was only a snippet, you'd say it's a good representation of the game, wouldn't you?
it represents, what the game has, gives you a couple of modes, actually the modes that you're probably going to play most, doesn't it?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So I mean, there was nothing like in the main game that surprised you that was different from the beta, was
in Battlefront, not particularly. To be honest, I think Battlefront's beta was just to go, it just told me this game's fun, and that's pretty much what Battlefront is.
Yeah, because also the main point was raised is like the Battlefront beta proximity to its release date was very close, and that's the exact same as the Division here. 'Cause I mean, the Division's supposed to come out on March 11th,
Yeah, so
so
the
there's
Division
no,
comes out in America on March the 8th, so it's got even less time. Then
no. It's fair to say that no major changes, barely even any superficial changes, would take place between now and the release date.
you would think the only changes they can make is that the game must be essentially being put on disk as we speak. So the only change they can really make now would be that that one that one update that you get whenever you buy a game, like
Yeah, yeah.
a couple of bugs.
Yeah, so right, let's move on to what we thought of it. So I want to start with the combat gameplay, which is I'd say the overwhelming part of the game. My thoughts on it were, I don't know if you, James,
Yeah,
has ever played Splinter Cell Conviction, but which is also a Tom Clancy based game made by Ubisoft. So it's basically got all those same combat mechanics, and what I mean by that is like it's a cover based system that's sort of similar to Gears of War, but you use the right analog stick to look at a separate cover. You get into a piece of cover with the button X, then you look at another piece of cover with the right analog stick, and you hold down X to run to a different bit of cover. And that's basically the entire cover system, and that is exactly the same as it was in Splinter Cell Conviction. I'd say
similar to.
the main difference.
I
Sorry, James, you were saying?
was going to say it's pretty similar to even the Naughty Dog games. I don't have the same experience with Splinter Cell as you. The only Splinter Cell I played was in the original DS, so we're going back ages. The main Tom Clancy game that I'd played in the past was Rainbow. Was it Rainbow Six?
Yeah, Rainbow Six. Yeah, but I'm not saying it's similar, James. I'm saying it's the same.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. So, and also the main difference being though, in Splinter Cell Conviction, you had pretty like good melee. You could like do these like combat moves as Sam Fisher, but in the Division, that's restricted to a simple elbow R3 melee move, which is ridiculous. But anyway, getting on back to the main point. So I say that the combat gameplay it's solid. It's like any other third-person shooter you've ever played, and I say there's nothing remotely special about it. But what do you think, James?
Well, I mean, I'm going to take a different comparison because you're comparing it with the old Tom Clancy games, and I mean, I haven't played The Siege and I haven't played Splinter Cell anytime recently or at all. So I'm going to just compare it with a couple of other shooters. I always have this argument. I mean, when the full game comes out, you might be able to change it a bit. I always negatively think of games that take a slightly different system where you can jump or climb up things, but you have to press a different button to X. Now that's probably because I'm simple, but you're so used to like I'm talking about Call of Duty and Battlefront and stuff like that. They all pretty much have the same controls. It does change it a bit. But again, even once you've got used to it, which by the time we finished, I got used to it. I just think you're playing it and you're like, this is nothing that special. Compared, I might as well be playing. It's open world COD. You know.
Well, it's not open world COD 'cause it's third person. I say, it's
Okay, open world COD if COD went third person is.
yeah. I mean, yeah, fair comparison. Um, it's just like I want to, because I don't think we've probably like explained. I don't know. No, obviously no one's listening really, but like the overall like gameplay elements of it is similar to any other Ubisoft game like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed. It's like you have a big map, you've got missions in different places on the map. There's also like side missions which you can rinse and repeat. Like for one, for example, it's called Hostage Rescue. You go and you kill a couple of bad guys, you find a key that's hidden somewhere in the surrounding area, then you open a door where a hostage is locked behind. And then you can do that X number of times.
Right.
And
So you brought up the fact that obviously Ubisoft have Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and Far Cry. Now, Assassin's Creed's one I've got the experience with here, but everybody's criticism of Assassin's Creed, and I think you're kind of getting to this point, but everybody's criticism of Assassin's Creed is they don't change anything about the gameplay. All the problems from Assassin's Creed 2 in the gameplay are still in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. You know, are you saying that in general they've upped the graphics because it's PS4 and Xbox One, but do you feel that it's a similar sort of thing where some of the things you would have improved in gameplays, some of the things you might have made special in it,
yeah, well, I'd say I'm not even like compare because they're not. You can't really compare them gameplay because I mean, like, the Division is a third-person shooter, while Assassin's Creed is like a third-person beat 'em up essentially. But what I'm mainly comparing to it is like the map system, what you can do on the map, how you complete missions, what side missions there are, because there's no thought in the side missions. They're just missions that you can constantly repeat to get more EXP or whatever. It's no. I mean, like, I'm talking about this as a purely single-player experience because you can play the Division, and I've got praise for it by that. You can play it completely solo, and I don't know if you can do that on similar things. Like the most similar thing is Destiny now. Like a free, you pay for it once, you don't have to like pay for it ongoing. It's not like an MMORPG where you have to like continue like paying a subscription. I think like, sorry, James, do you want to say something?
I believe Destiny has some offline elements, but obviously both games.
Well, no. Even solo on the Division, you have to be connected to the internet.
I was going to say both games feel like they've got a heavy reliance. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get the full Destiny experience, and you're not going to get the full Division experience without playing it with people.
Yeah, but one of their main selling points for the Division is that you can play it by yourself and get the same level of experience.
Yeah, you can play it by yourself, but we both played a little bit of it by ourselves.
I played about a couple of hours by myself.
When you played it by yourself, did you actually find the game that fun without people?
It was fun. No, it's not. It's not. It was fine. I mean, but it was nothing more than that. I mean, like,
it was average.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, like, the story plots of points are fine. Like, and you could like personally play it by yourself easily, and like the missions actually like scale in difficulty because I mean, I played that mission we played this morning, the hospital mission, with the three of us by myself, and the difficulty is like 3 times as hard to like accommodate the 3 of us playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it scales that to how you're doing it, and I could easily see it being actually in some instances better when you play it by yourself, particularly with the story elements. But I mean, it's fine by itself, but I definitely say it's better with co-op.
Yeah, which I think when I see people talk about Destiny, most people would much rather play, because that's a game. I've read articles saying the Division's going to take over Destiny's sort of selling point and Destiny's sort of ethos. So, I mean, when you look at Destiny, I think most people will say, I just really play it online or go on by myself, join a team that day and just play it a bit. I see people that, I've seen people in the workplace and stuff that have played absolutely loads of Destiny. But I couldn't say at the same time that it's got the same reliance. And I think that's a criticism of a lot of current games coming out in that genre. That's what it's come out to compete with. Because I find it weird that they brought out 2 Tom Clancy games, or going to have brought out 2 Tom Clancy games. Is it fairly quick succession?
Yeah, but I know, but you got to remember, James, this game has been in development for years, and I mean years. It was announced like it must have been E3 2013, maybe.
Yeah. And
I
even
mean, like, it's a long time, and I've got to say, I can't see where all the development's gone. Because
no,
I mean,
nothing. It's got nothing that any of the other.
maybe what their main problem was is just getting it to function like Destiny as being like an online thing. Maybe that's what they've been focusing on.
Maybe Manhattan is. Maybe when you play the game properly, Manhattan is that beautiful. It sounds like
Because I mean, they are Ubisoft. Sorry to interrupt you again. They are
yeah,
like Ubisoft. I mean, like you think how much like take Assassin's Creed Unity as an example. Like they spent almost all their time getting Paris right.
yeah, and even Syndicate. Syndicate is a very accurate representation of London in the year that it's set. Is it
Yeah,
19?
I mean, it's a functional shooter, and I think we've also got to mention that I know driving is a part of the game. I've seen it in videos, but it was not included in the beta, so we don't know how that impacts things. I can say one thing for sure: in the beta, running from place to place is a pain in the ass. Even though you can fast travel, it's not really useful in certain instances because the fast travel it takes a little while. Like it's not instant. Like I've tried it; it takes about two minutes to fast travel.
I find it weird that you can run 8 kilometers in about 10 minutes on it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just it's annoying though, isn't it? Running from place to place.
It's annoying, but it's like, how can you just travel? You know,
Yeah, but okay, the scaling system's wrong. But what I'm getting at is though we found that annoying in the beta, but obviously that's not going to be annoying in the real game because there'll be cars.
yeah, they can solve that point. So if you say, if that's your main thought, if your main thought would be, I'm pissed off going from A to B on foot. If you've played the beta, at least you know it's going to be fixed for you in what 3 weeks' time when the game comes out.
I don't understand why they didn't include cars though in the beta.
No, you wanna if you're gonna put the beta on, surely you're just making sure of. Well, obviously they've put it out there because it's so quick to the release to make sure of bugs and whether there's how many bugs there are, and to fix them in the pre-game patch. That's clearly what all they've done it for, because they're not doing it to develop anything else. So therefore, you would think that they would have wanted to try out the cars a bit.
Yeah. So I want to wrap up this section called the gameplay itself. So my final thoughts on this is it says solid. The mechanics are okay. I mean, like, and the everything's okay. It's fine. What would you say, James?
I would give if I was rating the game, I'd give it a 6 because as you said, I think it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just there's nothing special about it. At the same time, it's like I'm turning. If I'm paying money on this game, I've already got Call of Duty, Battlefront, Destiny, which I haven't played. It's got nothing to say. This is what you need. You really need to play this game in game.
Yeah. So because I mean, some people might say the special part of the game would be the Dark Zone, and we played this like less than a couple of hours ago. So basically, the Dark Zone, for people who don't know, is like a PvP player v player and player v enemy environment on a part of the map. So you run to a part of the map, you go through this gate and go through another gate, and then you're in the Dark Zone where you're with other players and you can kill them as well as enemies. Now, once you kill like a friendly, non-hostile player who's not shot you, you try and kill them. You go rogue for a certain amount of time. Now, rogue means you get a bounty put on your head and you come up on the map to everyone, so everyone's trying to kill you for that specific amount of time. The only way you can stop being a rogue is if you wait for the time count to go down. But if you shoot at someone else during that time, the time counter will freeze. What
Yeah, that we
I
found
missed anything?
out how hard being rogue was because Jack was a fucking idiot.
I was just trying out. Like, if they didn't want you to shoot people, then they should put that in there.
Admittedly, they were standing in your face, and I was aiming my gun at them too, thinking, "Do I?" But yeah,
I mean, it's just a beta. I didn't care. I wouldn't have done that on the real game. I was just wanted to try it. So
there's a trophy for being rogue for so long without dying.
well, that's wonderful. But the main point the main problem I had with the Dark Zone, which I think you had as well, James, is that I think this is intentional. If you're playing in-game chat, which we were, then it says when you first go to the Dark Zone, you will have like communication problems. But I didn't really think about it. I thought that's just some random bullshit they're saying. But they actually cut you off from speaking to each other.
I'm gonna be honest. The idea of the Dark Zone is actually a good, solid idea. It's something I'm sure other games like your Destinies have a similar idea, but I'm not sure. So it's walking into a good idea. The map anyway throughout the whole game is just a bit empty anyway on the beta, but then when we go on about the communication thing, that was bullshit because you play a game because going on this, you're probably deciding to go on with friends in a team, and
Yeah.
it just feels a bit shit that you'd spend all this time going in to this world and then you can barely fucking talk to anyone.
Well, and the obvious argument would be is we could have just been in the party, but the reason why I don't is because I say it's okay at internet connection, but lately, because it's on BT and due to the recent problems with it, it's not been good with parties. That like when I play FIFA online or anything, I say I'm fine as long as I use in-game chat, but once I start using parties, and I get disconnected, and that's really annoying. So I thought, so go in-game chat's fine in the division, but when you get to the dark zone, you're effed.
Yeah, because once we came out of the dark zone, it was back fine. So it's got to be, the communication things. But I thought they meant communication with,
Yeah, like I thought it was just around gameplay bullshit.
suspect that there might be hostages here and all this that's going on in the other parts of the game. You're thinking that's what's going to leave you, or you're going to only get some of that. Literally,
Yeah.
you get tiny little bits of Jack breathing, basically. And that's it. That's all you get. I mean, and then when he tries to talk, or when someone tries to talk, you might hear a couple of words, but you can't hear the rest, and you're trying to follow each other. But you really can't. You can really get lost. One of you dies.
But there has to be said that your location is marked on the map. Like you can see where your friends are on the map. I also want to get, because we haven't fully explained the dark zone yet, right? So the main point of the dark zone is you go in, you find loot, you kill other players, you pick up their loot, then you have to get to something called an extraction point. And once you're at the extraction point, it takes about 2 minutes for you to be extracted. If you're not before that time and some people kill you, then you lose all your loot, which is a good idea, I think. I think that's a good gameplay mechanic. I can see it getting old after a certain amount of time, but I mean, like, that is, I suppose, a good idea.
And how much they'll update to the dark zone as well. How much they'll add other things in. But I feel like it's something that's a good idea. It's got some problems that I've got with it. Might not, some people might really love it, but you feel like that it's their sort of that if they can update anything in the game over time and consistently do an update, maybe not to Destiny stands, but that will be where the update will be.
And yeah, I think I just want let's just sum up our thoughts on the dark zone. But like, I think it's a good idea, but I'm not sure about the execution.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say on the dark zone.
Right, so my final topic I'm going to go is your base of operations, which, like, like on Assassin's Creed 2, you went back to your mansion, you upgraded different parts of it. Basically, in your base of operations, you have 3 wings, or no, 4 wings, I think, but only 3 were accessible. No, 2 were accessible in the beta, which was your tech wing. So you basically go into this building. Sorry, really roundabout explanation here. You go into the building, you've got, like, different areas. You've got your main base when you come into, you've got, like, a tech wing, a medical wing, and some other wings. Now, in each of these wings, you can upgrade them after you rescued a certain person from a mission. So, for one example, you have to rescue a doctor from a hospital, and she comes back to your base of operations and starts your medical wing going. Now, to upgrade your medical wing, you've got to go and do missions out on the map and get, like, medical components. And once you've got enough of them, you'll be able to make upgrades. So, for example, the first upgrade of the medical wing is I think it's the pharmacy, or something like that. But once you unlock that, you unlock a special ability. Now you've got 2 ability slots, and you can have 2 on at a time, obviously. So these are L1 and R1. So when you're out in the world, you're playing combat, you click L1 to trigger an ability. Now, the medical ability, one of them is sonar. So you turn it on, and you can spot all the enemies in your immediate vicinity, and also give you and any of your team members plus critical chance. So you've got a better chance of doing a critical hit on an enemy. So that's basically what the base operations is. You upgrade certain stuff. Like in the other wing, the tech wing, your first ability unlock is a turret which you can put down and it shoots people automatically. Now, I think this is all fine, but it's just like standard Ubisoft. What do you think, James?
I mean, you say it reminds you of Assassin's Creed 2. The game that this part reminds me of a bit more is your building on Unity. where essentially all your stats are there as well as all your abilities and all your different weapons and stuff like that. You can take, you can switch around, you can switch outfit. Now this feels more in depth. It feels, and I like it. I actually think it's a good, solid one. Now, the only thing I have is I would like it if they made, because we were in a team of 3, but we were in a team because you joined me and then our friend joined us, and so on and so on. So I think what would be cool if you can make like sort of clans on the game, like, or gangs or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you have one between you as well if you decide to play it like that. That's all.
Yeah, well, that may well be part of the game in the future. We don't know that.
Yeah. I would hope that is something that will come in the full game that we just don't know about yet. Maybe because we haven't read into it enough, or maybe because they haven't made it clear. But I like the idea. I think that it's fairly in depth to it, and I like the idea that you, as you play the game, you are enhancing your own area, so you're improving yourself as well. I do think that's quite cool.
So like I think that's like all the main points we need to go through. I don't think we really need to talk about the story. It's basically like after like some kind of virus outbreak and you're in New York trying to find the cure or whatever. That's basically it. But like I want to like come up by asking you, James, are you going to buy it? Because it comes out soon. You played the beta, which is basically a bigger demo. So what do you think? Are you going to buy it?
Question needs to be answered in 2 parts. Am I going to buy it on March the 11th when it's out in the UK? No, because I'm not. It's not. To me, it's not worth 40 quid. Am I going to buy it if it goes down in price to about 20 quid? Maybe after I finish with things like Uncharted and if PSVR comes out and I end up with that, maybe in about a year's time. But I think by then the ship will probably sail for the game, having played it today. So probably not, unless in about a year's time it's still got a high play base. Then I might pay 20, 25 quid for it.
Now I want to actually ask, because I'm not going to buy it on the release date unless it gets amazing reviews. And I actually want to do a final book where we predict like the review scores for like things like IGN and GameSpot. Now I predict that this game will get a maximum of 7.5 on IGN. I think it will get lower on GameSpot.
If I was writing the IGN article, I'd be giving it anything between about a 6.4 and a 7.3 sort of thing, like kind of average. Is it going to really make you like are you really going to get 100 hours out of this game just because it's so fun? No, probably not. But
I also sorry, just to ensure you, James, but I want to come back to this point again because I feel like even though it's the beta, like you'd think they would release most of like the gameplay elements in there. There can't be that much more. I mean, surely, yeah, obviously the map's going to be massive. It has to be, but I mean, like there has to be more to it than in the beta, of course. But I mean, like there can't be that much more because we're so close to the release date. I mean,
even if it gets amazing reviews, I don't think it's a game that they.
I don't think there's any way it'll get amazing reviews.
I think it's going to get reviews of look. It's a decent shooter. If you really love shooters, in third person, go and buy it. But unless
it's not more than
love, don't get it yet.
Right. So, have you got any other points you want to wrap up this on?
No, I mean, I think the game's solid in what it wants to do, but I don't think it's spectacular. A bit like Battlefront, but without the interest of stories being a huge.
Well, if you're listening and you want to play The Division, you've only got the rest of the day to do it. And considering it's 28.1 gigabyte download, you better have really quick internet. So, thank you for listening to the Sometimes Relevant, Always Talking Games podcast. You've been listening to me, Jack, and the Imperious James. If you want more from us, go to sometimesrelevantblog.wordpress.com. Goodbye. Say goodbye, James.
Goodbye.